guys, it's Lucy, and today I'm going to be doing my November wrap-up. This past month I read 2 books. They're both books I started before November, so I didn't even read all of these books in November. So yeah, school is really doing a lot to me. This December is going to be finals, and normally when I have a shorter wrap-up, I try and combine my wrap-up and TBR, but I'm not going to be doing a TBR for December right now because of finals, as I just mentioned. I just know I'm not going to be reading a lot. So instead of a TBR, I'm going to be talking about the books I'm currently reading, which is basically my only goal for at least the first half of December. The second half of December, you can expect a lot from me because school will be over and I'll have a whole month where I can sit at home and do nothing, which will be great for me and my mental health, and also great for my channel because I'm going to do what I did last year, which is where I had a video up every day before the end of the year. It's kind of like Vlogmas, but instead of counting down to Christmas, I'm going to be counting down to New Year's. And I'm going to be starting the Monday after my finals end, which I think is the 19th, of December. So on that day, you can expect like a rest of December TBR because I'm going to have a lot more time to like read and do other things. But for now, here's my wrap up and then the books that I'm currently reading and haven't finished yet. First, we have Dracula by Bram Stoker. I've been listening to this book for a while now. I think I started in June maybe. Yeah, it took me a long time to listen to it, but audiobooks do usually take me longer. I gave it 3 stars. If you don't already know, basically Dracula is like the quintessential vampire story, but I didn't really enjoy it that much. Gave it 3 stars because it was just okay in my opinion. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that it is a classic, so I basically knew what was going on. A lot of the book is like trying to find out what the specific creature is, and obviously you know it's a vampire because it's Dracula, but like the characters don't know. So you spend a lot of the book like knowing things that the characters don't know, and you're just waiting for them to find out. And a lot of the time how they find out isn't anything interesting. You read this book like you want to find out like, oh, why don't vampires like garlic? Blah blah blah, and like this book doesn't even give you an explanation. It's just like, oh well, in other books it says that vampires don't like garlic, like within the story, and it just was boring basically. And then I kept reading to find out if there was going to be any big plot twist or anything, and then it was just really predictable and boring ending. And yeah, I was just mostly bored, so I got 3 stars from me. It's not a terrible book, and I'm sure if you really like classical literature, then you probably would enjoy it more than I did. The second book that I finished during November was The White Boy Shuffle by Paul Beatty. I think it was my September wrap-up where I mentioned that I had left this book at home, so I had stopped reading it for the past like couple months, but then I went home for Thanksgiving, and so I finished it over Thanksgiving break, and I ended up giving it 3.5 to 4 stars. I think it's 4 stars on Goodreads. This book is kind of hard to explain what it's about. It's basically about this boy named Gunnar Kaufman whose mother decides that he and his 2 sisters are too comfortable living in Santa Monica with like their richer like lifestyle, so they move to like West Los Angeles so that they can learn to be black. And if you can't already tell, this book is obviously satire, but I think I found it to be a little too much for me. I don't know what it is that didn't work for me about this, but a lot of the time it was just confusing. Like things were just too over the top. Like this mom like moves them from like a safe and like comfortable place and then moves them to like West Los Angeles, which is known for like gang violence and all this stuff. And like when they get there, like this kid is like getting beat up on the daily, and like his mom knows, and she's like, yep, this is what it's like. And like, yeah, it's so weird. At first I thought that they had to like move for like money reasons, like maybe they became poor, but then I like realized because at one point like he tries to buy sneakers, then he just goes to his mom, he's like, can I have $200 for sneakers? And like no poor family is gonna be like, yeah, you can have $200 for some like designer sneakers. And I was like really confused. Then I talked to my sister about it, and she was like, yeah, I actually thought that this book was gonna be about a white boy learning to dance. And yeah, it was really interesting. I did enjoy the book, but again, I thought that a lot of it was so ridiculous that I just had a hard time getting behind it. And then the N-word is also used a lot, which bothered me. I just prefer not to have that word used at all. So if that's gonna bother you, then I don't recommend it. I will say that when the book wasn't like super lost in like the ridiculousness and like digging a hole of like weirdness, the points that it brought up were well thought out points and things that I think people should think about. And yeah, I just really don't know what to say about this book. I gave it 3.5 to 4 stars because I thought for the most part the writing was well done and I could see what he was trying to do. And as I said, like the points he brought up I thought were well executed. So on to the books that I am currently reading, and basically hopefully I'll finish these by the end of finals week. Probably not. Hopefully I'll actually study so I can do well. The first book is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I've been reading this for 3 months now. I feel like it's really hard for me to be like, I love this book when it's taking me so long to read it, but I really do love this book. It's just I haven't been reading it consistently. I was supposed to be reading a chapter a night, and really it's been a chapter every 2 or 3 days, and the chapters are already really short, so even when I am reading a chapter, it's not like I'm getting through a lot of pages. So right now I'm on page 252, and I'm still really loving it. Like, I love this book. This is still my favorite classic of all time. Another Day by David Levithan, which was not part of my November TBR, but I just felt like I wanted to read it, but I'm only like 50 pages in. So yeah, again, this is another circumstance where I'm not really actively reading it, but I do want to finish it. What I have read has been nice. If you don't know what it's about, this is a companion to Every Day by David Levithan, and Every Day was about kind of a being that woke up every day in a different person's body and just like lived that day as that person, and he ends up meeting this girl and falling in love with her, and this is the story of the girl and like her side of events from that book. And then the last book that I'm currently reading is Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I am rereading this. I read this at the beginning of the Gemini has come out, which is the second book in the series, and I want to read that, but I decided I wanted to reread Illuminae because I loved it so much and I want to like really go into the book knowing as much as possible. So I'm actually listening to this on audiobook because I've heard a lot of good things about the audiobook, and I figured since I'm a busy person, this is a good way to get that reread in. And I also need to reread books for my goal of the year, and so after I finish Pride and Prejudice in this book, I'll only have to reread one more book and then I'll have accomplished that goal. But I'm really enjoying it. Again, I gave it 5 stars the first time, and right now I don't see it changing. Those are all the books that I'm going to talk about in this video. Give this video a like if you liked it, leave a comment down below, and tell me what was your favorite book that you read in November. And if you like seeing me talk about books, please be sure to subscribe to my channel because I make more videos where I talk about books. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!